How did he go from heartbreak to being the man she writes love notes to? From we're done to twice a day intimacy, planning their future together. I mean, this is the same woman who walked out and ended their relationship for good. And now she not only came back, but apologized for walking away and said something he never expected to hear again after 17 years.
She thanked me this week. She said, "Thank you for bringing back the old Dave that I fell in love with 17 years ago."
In this video, I'll show you the 3 shifts he made that any man can learn to pull her heart back without force or persuasion. The last one in this video, it creates more connection and desire than, well, they've ever felt in years.
We've had more intimacy in the last 12 days, whatever it is, than we probably have had in the last 3 or 4 years put together. And we're planning a future. That's where we are.
So let's get into it. David and his partner have been together for 17 years, even worked side by side at a successful real estate team. They weathered plenty of storms over the years. But David made a mistake that he immediately registered.
So we've had our ups and downs. Then in about, maybe it was September-ish, 23, we had a major fight. And I'm going to hold myself responsible for that. We did a quick breakup. It's the first time we'd really broken up in all those years. We did. By the next morning, I realized I'd made a mistake and began the process to try to patch it up.
Now, of course, he tried to fix things right away, but something had changed. The connection they once had, it never fully returned, and then everything fell apart.
We went through another, our most serious breakup a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Real bad. She broke up with me. We figured it was permanent. I mean, lots of mementos got thrown away, pictures got discarded. It was pretty serious. I was convinced we were done.
You see, David hit his rock bottom. His heart was shattered. Their business partnership dissolved. She packed up her things and left the office. But what he did next put him on a collision course with transformation.
At some point, you have to pick up and move on and focus on yourself. And my happiness is now in my control, not somebody else's control. So I decided, I flipped a switch. I'm not going to sulk in this anymore. I'm going to go start a new life.
See, David took action, and when he did, it opened his eyes to the first principle I'm going to share with you. It's the shift that makes your wife stop in her tracks and think, who is this man in front of me? He's no pushover, he's grounded, he's focused, and he's sure of himself. And that has energy that builds over time. And you'll start to see the flicker in her eyes. The respect will return. And then that spark that you thought could never come back, it just emanates to life. Here it is in David's words.
No longer being a nice guy. Like, I focus on me as a man and me as my, working on my values and being strong and in my frame and things like that. I've been a nice guy my whole life, and I'm much better at that. And now I'm not pursuing her. And our relationship is different than it's ever been. She's coming to me from a completely different perspective, kind of the perspective you guys described that I never really believed.
David flushed out the nice guy behavior from his system with an approval detox. Now, I asked David to get specific here. Listen and see if his answer really sounds familiar.
What is one behavior that you used to do that was a nice guy behavior that you no longer do now?
So I don't know if I could drill it down to one behavior, but I will say I put her on a pedestal. Yeah. At least I felt like I did.
A lot of men do this, not out of weakness, but out of fear. Just really fear of losing her, fear of being alone. So they really overgive, overplease, and elevate her into this person that they need to really keep happy all the time. They put her on a pedestal, right? They don't feel good enough. But when you put her on that pedestal, it does a lot of things, but you don't just lose polarity, right? Which is increasing that attraction and respect and all the things that you need to see her to see you as a masculine state. But you put pressure on her as well. You signal that she's the leader, and slowly the attraction that used to bring you guys together, it collapses under the weight of your approval. Now, here's a perfect example of how David changed that dynamic.
I told you she came down to the little fishing town. It's called Linton. The day she came down, the day before I was driving from Indianapolis to Linton, it's 100 miles. I had just started my journey, and she knew I was going out of town. I told her. She called me, and she was upset. It was Valentine's Day. She was upset. Or maybe it was the day after Valentine's Day. She was upset. I thought you'd want to see me today. First of all, we're broke up. I've made plans. I'm going out of town. And she said, have you already left yet? She wanted me to turn around and drive back. And the old me would have. The old me would have canceled my room for the weekend and driven back.
Yep.
And I said, no. No, I said, I'm on my way and I'm going to go to Linton. I said, now, if you want to pack up and drive to Linton to come and see me, you're welcome to. I didn't do that it wasn't an arrogance thing at all. It was, I'd like to see you, but I've made plans and I'm going to do those plans.
The new David didn't drop everything to prove his love. He didn't cave out of guilt. He held his frame, not with arrogance, but with clarity, with his centeredness, okay? And that is where the shift happens. You see, when a man stops bending over to make her happy, to get her back, and he starts standing in his own values, his own time, his own direction, she will feel that. She doesn't even have to see it. You don't have to prove it to her. The fact that you think you need to prove it to her is in the other side of the neediness. You see what I mean? It comes from strength, the kind of strength that makes her want to come back to you again. The reason she fell in love with you. And when I say strength, I mean, this is really a placeholder for what we call the apex man here. He has extremely high status in her mind for his ability to meet her core need of emotional safety. Because at the end of the day, women stay with a man who makes them feel safe. All right. And that feeling of safety and novelty, it stems from your ability to hold status in her perception of you. It's what allows her to open up without pushing her away. Without it, you'll fall into the trap that so many men do, reacting, defending, and shutting down, and unknowingly make her feel unsafe all over again. I want you to listen to how David really describes this.
Showing her a safe zone. I've used words with her before recently and told her that I told you she's got some psychological issues. And I said, I want you to know that you can unload that. You can unpack that in any way you want, any way you need to communicate. And my intent is to be your rock that you can crash into, because I know you need to do that. And it's a judgment-free zone.
David finally grasped the significance of the really rock response. He was able to remain calm, centered, steady, structured, stable, okay, whenever she brought that storm to him. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean being a robot with no emotions. It means being able to be unshakable, to hold space for her emotions in the container of who you are without reacting, without defending, without moving yourself, without trying to logically dismiss her emotions. You're steady and grounded, and that's what she feels safe into. It's just holding presence, not trying to get away from the present moment, accepting, embracing all of her emotions. You don't rush to solve her feelings, right? You don't take it personally, and you definitely don't defend your way out of intimacy. And when you do this, look at what happens.
I think she feels like she can now say whatever's on her mind in a respectful way. I do expect that.
And by the way, this isn't just feel-good advice or pleasantries. It's backed by science. Your partner's good mood has a huge impact on your health as well. One study found that when a partner stays calm and supportive during the other person's emotional moments, it can actually lower the other person's stress levels, their cortisol. In simple terms, the more grounded you are, the safer she feels emotionally and physically, okay? By the way, if you need support with this, it's one of the main issues a lot of guys deal with. You can set up a free call with our team down below, right? We have limited spots available, so make sure you are fully committed to doing something different. We can get on a call, that strategy call. We can help you out, giving you exact action steps, how to move forward to get her back. All right, let's continue. Now, while this was vital to helping her trust again, there was one more change that David really made. The shift that drew her back and reignited their desire between each other. And it is the exact reason why she started leaning back in, because really she couldn't help herself, to be honest with you. I call it the energetic reversal. Again, I'll let David introduce this concept.
I think she sees me as having the strength to pick up and move on without her if she's going to play those games. She says she is stunned. I think she senses that I'm stronger than she thought I was.
Yeah. Yep.
I think she senses that I'm not afraid anymore. If she
Yeah.
came to me today, if she got mad today and broke up with me today, um, yeah, I'd be disappointed. I'd be sad. I'd be hurt. I'm not going to let it rip my heart out again. That's why I think she's approaching me different.
When David made a subtle but powerful shift in energy, she became the one reaching out, okay? He still wanted her, but he no longer needed her to feel whole. He was fulfilled from within. Now listen to how I expand on this.
And so you're touching on something that I really want to solidify right now, David, which is I use it for many different names, but the name I use the most in the program is the attraction paradox of wanting her but not needing her. And a lot
Say
of
that again.
the attraction paradox of wanting
Yeah.
her but not needing her, right? That is the ultimate attractive mindset, right? To know that you desire her. Yes, you want her in your life. Your life is better with her, but you don't need her to feel complete. And a lot of men in the program, they talk about letting go, and it's kind of the same process, right? Where you're letting go of the need for her in your life.
This is not a tactic, by the way. It is a core truth you must embody. And once you embody it, you stop chasing because there's nothing left to prove, my man. There's a moment in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, one of my favorite rom-com movies, where Peter finally stopped sulking and started focusing on himself.
Don't try to surf. Don't do it. The less you do, the more you do.
How long you lived out here?
Learning to surf, writing music, reconnecting to who he is, and guess what happens?
Pete, you shouldn't be up and walking around. Can you please just...
Please don't touch me. Just don't touch me, okay?
Not touching you.
Sarah starts showing up again. And that's the paradox. The moment he stopped trying to get her back, she started to notice him again. And it also worked for David. There's, if I can tell you the one commonality among all the men, it's this, about really finding yourself again, as cliche as it sounds. Check it out.
She is, she's coming to me from a completely different perspective, kind of the perspective you guys described that I never really believed. She expresses her love for me deeply, daily, multiple times in little love notes or affectionate, shows of affection and stuff like that. So we're together.
When you stop chasing and start standing in yourself, your values, and who you're meant to be, the energy shifts, and the woman who once walked away begins to lean back in. But regardless of that, you're more than okay. Now, this man's story on how he saved his marriage is also extremely powerful. And we also have a video right here on the ERM method. It's one of the most comprehensive videos on the channel. I highly suggest you check this one out here if you have not heard about the ERM method. And again, you can set up a call by clicking the link down below. See you guys in the next video.